Most tank players lose fights before the fight even starts. They get poked out, waste resources, and fight for space that doesn't matter. Today I'm going to break down the concepts of tank positioning, and I'm going to dive into some of my own VODs to show exactly what those mistakes look like. I'll also be showing how those positioning decisions control the tide of the fight. This video is going to build on my last one, which was a generalized positioning guide, but this is going to be more of a tank-focused one. Positioning on tank has become a little more complex in 5v5. As the one tank, you are the entire shape of your team's space. No second tank to cover your mistakes. Choosing a good position on tank isn't always a general answer, it's generally using the context and the map and the matchup around you to inform your decisions. Being able to understand before every fight, where do I want to stand to prevent their team from pushing me over, is important. A good position on tank will have space that you want to control, and it will let you pressure the objective and deny their tank. The first big concept that influences your tank positioning is the matchup and the map that you're on. A lot of tanks play in one of three styles. They tend to brawl, poke, or dive. While this answer is technically correct, it doesn't account for the nuance that some characters have the abilities with their kit to do all three. A tank like Hazard is a good example of this. Hazard's kit allows him to dive and brawl. He can win the frontline trade, but he can also dive the backliners. So when you're against a Hazard, you need to be set up to prevent him to get his engage, and when he does get past you, you need to be prepared to zone his backline to control the objective. When you think about someone like Hazard, you can picture a big circle around him. The circle is the distance of his leap, and that's his effective range. Being able to understand the effective range of the character that you're against will help inform your positioning decision. If you're ever in a situation in a tank matchup where you don't know the correct answer, I recommend going back into the VOD and looking at a fight you lost. This can help you by getting a second look at how the tank pushed past without being punished, and what you can do differently to prevent them from pushing for free. Sometimes that's using your abilities and your cooldowns on their tank, other times that's just zoning their backline. In the VOD that I have today, I did a lot of zoning the backline and letting the Hazard get past me and letting my team catch him. Another big concept for positioning on tank is not taking poke. Your HP and your armor is your most important resource on tank. It's the one that helps you hold space the best, and it lets you get the engages that you want. Avoiding poke isn't a passive skill. You're actively preserving your resources and your HP to engage in the right moment. This can look like using cover, selecting your off angle, and patience. You're waiting with a purpose. Patience is an incredibly underutilized skill by a lot of tank players, especially in the lower ranks. If you take too much poke damage, which is just damage before the fight starts, it can allow the enemy tank and the enemy team to control their engage better than you can, and that can allow them to limit your options in pushing. The last quick concept I wanted to dive into before the VOD review is that cooldowns are how you pay for your space. In my climbing guide, I talked about how cooldowns are a resource, and utilizing them to trade for space and favorable HP trades is how you can win games. To build on this, every cooldown you spend on tank should be buying you better positioning. A good cooldown trade would be spending a cooldown to put pressure on their backline while their Hazard is diving, for example. Alternatively, if you know that their Hazard's wanting to go for a backline dive and he's on an angle where you can hit him or you can poke him out, that can be how you can spend your cooldowns to give him a less favorable trade. In the VOD that we're going to go over today, I was a Risa versus a Hazard on Rialto, which is a pretty favorable matchup for a Risa, but this Hazard player is really good, and he was almost never on my screen. But even as he was getting value, I was able to hold down the cart, zone his backline and his long-range snipers, and he had no follow-up on his dives. So without further ado, let's get into the VOD review. So this footage is from a Grandmaster game that I played earlier today, and I thought it really helped with showing the positional matchup with Hazard and how being able to position better won me this game. So you can see I kind of scout a little bit, and I noticed that they have some snipers, some long-range characters that aren't going to be able to help Hazard with his dive. I want to pause here because I got slept here, and I was way too wide off the corner. This is the concept I talked about of taking poke. I took way too much poke and almost got punished for it. Luckily, my DPS were able to clean up while I was holding down the corner, and we were able to win this fight. We go into the next fight. kind of the same thing happens. I'm standing too close to the corner, I get dynamited, I come off the corner and lose my armor, and then it forces my Curie Suzu. This indirectly leads to us losing the side fight because my supports don't have as much resources for themselves, and we lose our cast and then we lose the fight. That's one of the important concepts of playing a corner right there in action. I wanted to demonstrate that even though we lost this fight and we lost the progress, they weren't pushing the cart because we had stopped it on this corner and their hazard had to push past that to get value. So he gets the kills, he cleans up, he wins the fight, but the cart is still going to be far enough back for us to get a recontest. And as we're coming back, we catch the Zen who is way too far up. Pushing up is generally the play when you have advantage, but they push too far. Now, here is a moment I want to highlight where I was very patient. And as I said earlier, patience is not generally used by tank players. A lot of tank players would see this cart hitting like 4 meters and run straight in, but I was patient and I played for my armor, which allowed me to walk forward and pressure their Ana who was out of position. Again, their Ana was pushing up to push the advantage, but they stepped a little too far. So we slow it up, we win that fight, and we force them out. We clean up the ash, move on. All right, so the next fight, this one is actually interesting because I play up because I don't want their hazard to get through me for free. And I notice that they're all rotating in, so I want to put pressure on them. If you can see here, I notice that this ash is hitting me from over on the bridge, so I kind of tuck my hitbox into this corner. And if we look at this from the ash's perspective, eventually she can't really see me, and then my Freya is able to go blow her up. I walk out after forcing that attention and brawl the hazard. Unfortunately, I missed the spear on the hazard to save my Curie, but it's okay. We start cleaning up the hazard. And then this is an important moment as well. A lot of players would push the kill on this hazard, but I know that his backline is still somewhat alive, and he's going to have to come into us to get value. So therefore, I'm able to push forward, kill this Zen, and then the hazard comes back, and I'm able to spear him into the wall, and we clean him up. A lot of players would chase that kill, but the value is gotten by stopping the objective and killing his backline when you're in this type of mirror. So this fight, nothing crazy happened. It was just a standard 4v3 or 4v5. This last fight is one I wanted to highlight because they have really big ult advantage, and that can help you even in a 4v5. So I know that they're going to want to push through this area again, so I just poke it out. I play a little back because I'm trying to deny point touch. I do on the Bob, and then I unfortunately feed trying to hit the hazard off the cart. So you can see they use all 3 of their ults to clean me up, and we just lose that. Luckily, my team didn't die, so it's still a 4v4, which means they're on even turf. I come back and I'm able to get the pull into their team, which sets up for the high noon. We get the kills, and then we clean up the fight. Again, it is unfortunate that they had a lever, but I think the concepts were good enough in this VOD to be able to still highlight this. How I played to pressure their backline and pressure the objective rather than chasing down their hazard. A lot of players would chase that hazard in that situation. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching the whole thing. I'm on the push for 1,000 subscribers right now, so if this video helped you out and you feel like you learned something, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I also have a Discord server, which is linked in the description. It's a place to hang out, find people to queue with, or just to talk about Overwatch improvement. I look forward to seeing you all there. And if you liked this video, I have a general positioning guide that I uploaded last week. It's on my end card now.